What's up, you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, I am super hyped up because this is going to be our first look at the Hydroid Prime rework, which I think is really cool because looking at the comments over the last few days, I feel like the community and DE are like on the same side because they had some of the same ideas. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they've got going. Now, one of the big things on people's list was the fact that they felt that Hydroid was just a little bit too squishy. So they actually gave him a small bump to his shields from 345 up to 375, and they also increased his armor by a good chunk. It was 65 at the beginning, and now it sits at 200, which is pretty gosh darn respectable. So it's nice to hear that DE is listening to the things that we have to say. Now, of course, it's not a cool passive like Health Regen when he's like caught in water and shit, but you know, it gets the job done. So as you can probably tell, I've actually had to change my color around just a little bit in order to kind of show you guys some of the new mechanics, or better show it to you guys in the simulacrum. So let's go ahead and start with not Puddle, because that's not the name of the ability, but we're actually going to start with Barrage. However, I am going to use Puddle real quick. And as you can see right here, the interesting thing about Barrage is you can now cast it from inside your puddle. I know some of y'all were asking for this. I saw this in the comment section. So it's always good to know when DE and the community are on the same page about things. But let's go ahead and show you the next feature about it. So as you can see, if I just cast it straight away, it's like a little bit over 6 seconds for just a normal cast. However, what you can do is you can charge it up. So as you can see, we're creating a little puddle on the ground there, and now the duration is over 11 seconds, just a little bit over 11 seconds, and supposedly the barrage deals more damage the longer it is charged up. So it does not increase the radius or anything, but it does increase the duration and the damage that it does, which is pretty goddamn cool. And now you can cast it from your puddle, which is always nice. I think you can cast everything from your puddle. You can cast everything from your puddle. Let's move along. Alright, so the next ability we're going to take a look at is Tidal Surge, and it's fairly similar to the way that it's always worked. It's still, you know, your forward dash, but one of the cool things that you can do with it is, number one, you can use your forward dash into your puddle. So basically, the way that they're doing this, and it's cool because it's almost kind of like this combo system that they've got going on, and what it is you're going to sweep all enemies along with you in your Tidal Surge, and then when you hit the puddle, it'll actually drag them into the puddle. So you get that, and then you just sink into your puddle, and then all of the enemies sink down with you. Now, while we're here, you can actually recast Tidal Surge to move in your puddle form. Now, it is half the distance than it was previously, but you're in your puddle form, so I mean, you know, it's a little bit of extra movement when you're in this situation, because right now, when you're in Undertow, you move fairly slowly. Yes, you heard me say it, you move in Undertow fairly slowly. So it's a really cool synergy that the two of them can kind of like combo together now to create some really cool, like almost like if you need to rush to an interception point, you rush that interception point, then you hit puddle at the same time. It like stops you dead in your tracks instead of kind of keeping that momentum, and you get to like take down all of the enemies that like go along with you, which is super cool. Now, I've been speaking about like puddle a whole lot, so let's go ahead and take a look at the ability itself. Now, as for Undertow, this ability's actually got a lot of changes that went into it, which I find really interesting. We were talking about having some mobility in Undertow, and it actually acts very similarly to Volt's Electric Shield, where you're kind of slowed down and it costs to move. However, some mobility is better than no mobility whatsoever, but if you want to break out of it, you can just jump or roll. That was actually a really smooth... Like, that was a really smooth, let's see what happens to jump. That was a really smooth animation. Good job, animation team. I am a big fan of that. I like that a whole lot. Now, the cool thing about Undertow, let me go ahead and spawn some enemies, is it now does damage per second, which a part of me is like, I was pretty sure it did damage per second before, but what it can actually do now is enemies take increased damage as they go down. So as you can see, it started off at 56 and now it's like 141, and it goes up. So the longer that they're in the puddle, the more damage they end up taking, kind of like the drowning, which makes thematic sense. Now, I guess they were saying something about you can click on an enemy. Hold on, come here. We're gonna try to click on you. Oh well, no, I just sucked them in instead. Oh, so you can actually click on enemies to drag them inside your puddle. Look at this. This ability. Okay, y'all know how I was talking shit about puddle before? I'm kind of into puddle now. They made me like puddle, which is something that, you know, I was not super fond of. But you know what? They did it. you can just snatch them. Oh, we were talking about drag frame just the other day, but this is a whole nother story. This is pretty goddamn good. I'm super into this. I'm still super dying. But you know what? I think that was definitely worth it. This was definitely I'm giving them a big thumbs up on this ability. I'm giving them a big thumbs up on this ability. Just everything about Puddle is just way better now. And now for the pièce de résistance, Tentacle Swarm, which for the last 5 minutes I have been calling Summon the Kraken, which is not appropriate. However, it is what it does. So let's just go ahead and take a look at what it does real quick. So you can still cast it like normal, and you can see the range there, which is indicated in a little bubble. However, as you can see, it's, you know, still got some bald spots in there, and to be honest, the rework doesn't quite solve that. However, you can hold it down a little bit longer to charge it up, just like we did with Tempest Barrage, to increase its range. This also increases the amount of tentacles that are out there. Of course, there is still the bald spot issue that happens. However, DE did specifically say in the rework that the AI of the tentacles has been reworked a little bit better so that they actually seek out enemies instead of just flail around blindly. Now, of course, enemies are still going to get caught in it like they always are and still be flung around, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Now, that, like I said, didn't really solve the whole bald spot issue, but I did say you could cast this from your puddle, right? So, this is how to fix that. You can actually cast it in your puddle, and let's take a look at that grouping now. Look at that tight little grouping. Isn't that awesome and amazing? So, what happens is the tentacles actually come out of your puddle and are confined to the puddle's radius. Now, the coolest thing about that is I'm running this with Stretch. Stretch kind of comes out to like a 4.5 radius, so you get this really tight cluster of tentacles, which for some people is really nice, and you can kind of combo it. Now, you know, you could go ahead and do your dash into your puddle, into your tentacles, right? And you can set up a very quick, I guess you would say, kind of like a quick defense point if you really needed to rush to an area real fast. The one thing that I did want to point out there is it seems like, you know, the more you charge, the more tentacles you get. Does that seem, hold on, we're going to do an experiment. So I'm going to sink back down if I can remember how these gosh darn abilities work. And you're going to tell me if you feel like me charging this up more has given me more tentacles. I feel like it has. Is it just me? I feel like it's given me more tentacles. That's for the community of us to decide, because I feel like there are more tentacles in that when you charge it up, because you are technically going to be expending more energy to get that out. So that about does it for this part of the rework. Let me know what you guys think. I think I'm probably going to jump into some gameplay after this, just to kind of like show off its actual feel in game. However, I am super excited. Let me know if it's everything that you've dreamed of. Does this fix everything for you guys? Because to me, I don't know if it fixes things, but I think it really makes it a shit ton more interesting. I don't know about you. So let's go ahead and jump into some quick gameplay to see how this actually plays out in game. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a little bit like weary about this because we are jumping into a Kuva Flood to see exactly how he performs. Now clearly the way that he's set up is not necessarily as a damage dealer this time around. Of course he's got some utility that kind of like helps out with that, but at the end of the day he's very much AoE kind of disruption, so I want to see exactly how that goes. Ooh, I can hear the Kuva siphons in the background, and I have a feeling, I don't know why we haven't loaded up yet, so part of me is almost like we're gonna be dumped in. We're gonna be dumped into a... Come on! Oh my god, why the lag? Oh god, you can see me kind of swapping in and out of that one, so let's go ahead and actually, let's sink down into a puddle. Let's go ahead and cast our tentacles and have a fairly tight cluster in there. so that we can kind of disrupt that area right at that point. Let's figure out where this one is coming from real quick, which I cannot see anywhere. It's coming from underneath. I'm getting a little bit of a... I see you. Did I get it? I think I got it. Yeah. Woo! Uh-oh. Now I'm taking some hits, so let me go ahead and dive underneath real fast. Wait, where's my curative undertow? What's happening to my curative undertow? Did I take that one out? I might have taken it out. No, that's not what I was planning on doing. But no, I'm actually... See how this works right here. Have a little bit of a barrage area real quick to kind of like knock down enemies. That seemed to do a decent job of keeping enemies down. Let's do some tentacles normally. Do a little bit of that action. They seem to be doing a fairly good job. Are they? No, still. Oh, they got that one. Kind of taking a look at how the AI is working over here. Where? Okay. Oh my god. Did I get it? Did I get it? I think I got it. Oh, I don't know. There's definitely some lag going on. I could have sworn I put Curative Undertow in this build, but apparently it was saying no. Apparently Curative Undertow did not want to be a part of this party. However, I mean, I do feel like I have a little bit more control with the way that I want things casted, which is kind of nice to be able to do that. And one of the things that I did kind of want to mention, yes! Snatch him! Snatch him real quick! I'm trying to stay alive! I'm trying to stay alive. Oh no, we missed that Kuva part. But as you can see, I mean, did a pretty good job. See, that's the cool thing now, because you can actually dip into Curative Undertow real quick. You can dip into Curative Undertow and still cast some of your abilities to go along with it. There it is. Alright. There's a lag. Did we get it? I can never tell because we got the lag. Sweet. Now we can get the hell out of here. I felt like his CC was a little bit better, especially when you kind of especially when you mixed it all together with the puddle ability. I'm probably not using the puddle ability as much as everybody wants me to use the puddle ability, but we'll do it. I put in a prime flow specifically for this so that I can just puddle around. Because technically you're not targetable in the puddle, right? So it's pretty cool. But the animation of getting in and out of the puddle, I don't know if it was like that before, but it feels so much smoother now. And apparently you can puddle in midair, so let's go ahead and test that out too. There's nobody else with me, right? Whoop. Oh! Wrong ability. Alright, let's try that again. Puddle. Alright! It looks like you literally turned into like some sort of air blob. And then you just dip down and you're cool. Now, I don't know where the rest of my team is, but the mission's done. So, thank you guys. And that pretty much does it for me. I feel like it's really entertaining. I really kind of like the new moveset. I'm going to have to kind of play around with things and toy around with my builds just to see how that is. So, keep an eye out for that video because that should be coming soon. Regardless, that about does it for now. Let me know how you feel. Do you feel like this is going to give you enough of a reason to revisit Hydroid? Like, to revisit Hydroid and, like, play him excitedly? Because that's the thing. It's kind of like, oh yeah, everybody's gonna dip in, play Hydroid for maybe, you know, 2 or 3 days just to see how he goes. But really what I want to know is this gonna win you over to the side, to the Hydroid side? Are you getting wet for the Hydroid rework? Leave that in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!